Little apology to open the video. I'm here with my good friend and pet Baymax. This is my chinchilla. He wanted me to apologize to him on camera for blasting sick breakdowns from this Ice Nine Kills albums for way too loud for way too long. Even though we live on different floors of the house, buddy, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. And as he accepts my apology on camera, cuteness overload moment, he also wants you to check out the spooky season video I made. It's 7 albums that were haunted while they were recorded. Hannah and I put a ton of thought and work and research and editing into this one, so please check it out. Card on screen now. If you like Ice Nine Kills, I bet you'll like that video too. Hey neighbor, welcome back to ARTV. My name is John, and it's time to review album number 6, The Silver Scream 2, Welcome to Horrorwood by the metalcore act Ice Nine Kills. This album features an almost completely different lineup outside of the drummer and their frontman Spencer Charnas when compared to 2018's The Silver Scream. It was an album that really saw Inc. aligning themselves with the horror community, and the horror community embraced them with slasher fingers wide open. It's ambitious to do a sequel to your breakthrough album, but everything about their formula really worked. They would take an iconic horror movie and then make a song based around its story, around the narrative. And this time with Welcome to Horrorwood, they've added in their own element. I like that they added the suspense of, hey, maybe there's a killer, there's a storyline kind of running throughout the album. It's not a predominant feature, but it opens the door for them to allow themselves out of the box in the future if they want to. With there being so many visual music video companions to this album and the budget being ramped up because of how well the first Silver Scream did, you could get lost in that world, but I always question, does the music stand on its own? And in the case of the Silver Scream 2, abso-fucking-lutely. This album goes for the throat time and time again and features some of their most brutal, crushing riffs to date, along with some fantastic guest features that mostly utilize everything available to them to elevate these songs to even bigger highs. The instrumentals are fantastic. Spencer Charnas has arguably gotten even better and has never sounded more fantastic as a vocalist. And overall, I'm just finding myself ridiculously impressed at how well they incorporate all of these properties, these films, and even a video game franchise like Resident Evil and turn them into fantastic songs. Drew Folk returns as the producer for the project, and fun fact, he's actually from Kernersville, North Carolina, which is not far from me at all. In fact, our schools played each other in sports in high school and stuff, and with him only being a few years older than me, maybe we ran into each other at some point. I'm not always a fan of the stuff he produces, but with Ice Nine Kills, it seems to be a match made in hell, because he's able to flip these switches, and they also bring in some outside instrumentation, orchestration, and just the band members themselves. Not just Spencer, him doing a fantastic job of course, but we gotta give credit to the drumming on this album. It's absolutely thunderous, the performances are riveting, so many guitar solos, and just brutal breakdowns that will absolutely snap your neck. I really think that Ice Nine Kills are doing something so fresh, not with just the way that they incorporate these films, from Psycho to Resident Evil, which is also a video game franchise originally, of course, to Pet Sematary. There's a lot of jumping off points where this could totally jump the shark and become ridiculously cheesy, but the cheese that is here, it comes in some of the narrative portions. It comes in the way that they go so over the top that you can't not drool over it. Let's take a stab at some of the key tracks on the album, starting with Welcome to Horrorwood. That comes right after Opening Night, narrated by none other than Bill Moseley. We get the tone, the setting, and the theme that Spencer Charnas has murdered his fiancée. That runs in the background, and then we move into the only track on the album that isn't specifically tied to a film, and that's the title track, Welcome to Horrorwood. I find this one so gripping, fascinating. It's got such a flashy, bombastic chorus, but it's grounded by some of the screams and some of the ethereal guitars that really just strike up a lightning storm. As you probably know, I cut myself off at 2 singles before an album just so I don't spoil too much, so I heard Hip to Be Scared featuring Jacoby from Papa Roach, as well as Assault and Batteries, series. I fucking love both of those tunes. Hip to Be Scared has an awesome skit thrown into the middle of it. It calls back to multiple references, even within the band's own history. And then they pull out that slamming breakdown. Then Assault and Batteries came through. And I know that some people find the voices to be a bit excessive. I absolutely love it. I think it adds a lot to the tune. And again, if you're a fan of horror movies and Ice Nine Kills, the way they tie everything together is nothing short of brilliant. This is a Child's Play homage. It has everything I could possibly want as a big fan of that series, and the song just goes so ridiculously hard and heavy. The shower scene is able to incorporate a lot from the Norman Bates and Psycho storylines, and I love how twisted things get and the way that they utilize the stinging music from the original Alfred Hitchcock film into the breakdown of the song. Worst Vacation gets blood on its hands as they fire up a tribute to the Hostel film series. It's definitely messy in the best way. I love how just filthy this one can feel in places. As I mentioned previously, you have Take Your Pick featuring Corpse Grinder, that being the heaviest song on the album, but there's other moments that do rival that, and Worst Vacation is one of them. Ex Mortis is so fun. I love the Evil Dead, and I love how sing-songy Beyond the Grave this one gets. It's very different for Ice Nine Kills, but they pull it off incredibly well. It latches itself to your head. That's another thing I'm saying about this record. It does the hook so well. They don't miss a beat, and then they can go from being just very catchy, a bit more sunny, to the darkest day that you've seen all year. They turn on a dime once again on the album's best track, Funeral Derangements. This song ties us into the world of Stephen King and Pet Sematary, and it is just so magical in the darkest of ways. The guitar and drum combo is wicked. Spencer sounds phenomenal. The call out, the breakdown, the chorus itself, it's stacking everything up so ridiculously high. I can't lay enough praise at the feet of the altar here. There are a couple of tracks that feel a little bit too polished, or maybe they just don't go there or commit fully enough, and I think F.L.Y featuring Buddy from Senses Fail is one of those. The chorus just feels a bit overcooked, if you will. And also, I think the track Rainy Day, as a huge Resident Evil fan, there's a lot to like about it. I love the Easter eggs they toss in, the music video is fantastic, but the song itself, it just tries to pull off too much. I do like the heavier elements to the song, but it's also a bit too pop-friendly in some ways, and they pull off pop on this album, that's for sure, but Rainy Day is unfortunately one of my least favorites. Let's end on a positive note though. The last song that I want to call out by name is the closer, Farewell to Flesh. This is, of course, the Candyman's moment to shine, and I love Spencer on this track. He is darkly beautiful and haunting. The overall way that everything unwinds over the course of 5 minutes is nothing short of suspenseful, thrilling, engaging, and again, very spooky and haunting in its own right. The new Ice Nine Kills album really comes into its own, both commercially and artistically, and I'm giving the Silver Scream 2, Welcome to Horrorwood, a 4.5 out of 5, because it's a cut above the first. Puns aside, thank you so much for watching my review. If you have thoughts that you would like to share, or thoughts on my thoughts, then let me know in the comments section down below. Check out my review of the first Silver Scream right over here, or tap here for another rock review. All of my socials can be found in the description down below. Please hit that like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll be back soon for more on ARTV.